Well, good morning to all of you. I'm excited, really excited, because I got something in the mail the past couple of days, or it was 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And I booted it up and was playing and using it. I'll just show. I got Nintendo 64. And I already had Super Smash Brothers. This was like, I forgot I had that game. I forgot I had Super Smash Brothers. And because I forgot I had that game, I was like, oh man, I can't turn this thing on. So I had it for a few days and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if it works. I got it from eBay. I got it for like $40. I was like, okay, well, let's see if it works. And I have an HDMI to, is it VGA or RCA? You guys got to let me know. Adapter, and it booted up first rip, dude. I was playing Super Smash Brothers for like, I don't know, a while. And it works. I haven't played a Nintendo 64 in, oh gosh, probably 2 decades. And the excitement it gave me is something that I haven't experienced in about 2 decades. And, well, it got me thinking. Now, I'm someone who overthinks a lot of things, which is great, right? Overthinking is awesome, he says. And, trying to figure out what kind of gaming I like to do, what kind of content I like to make, and we're changing it. No, I'm just joking. It just means that there's a lot of introspection and figuring out what is my preferred way of doing things, which is good. I think that it's good to think about stuff you like and good to consider different ways of doing things and things that you do like already, question like why and stuff like that. Like, the phrase, I have my questions answered. Well, then there's the joke, well, I had my answers questioned. I think, there's some seriousness to that. Like, it's good to, take inventory every once in a while. And, overthinking is, definitely a problem, but maybe sometimes overthink a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. Take stuff apart. Anyway, I say all that because when I booted on the Nintendo 64, first rip, turned on, that was exciting. It's nice to know that the $40 I spent, well, it ended up being like 50 something with like shipping and taxes and everything. I think it was like $56 all in all. Not bad. $56 for a functioning Nintendo 64 with a Nintendo 64 controller. I don't know if the controller's OEM, but it's fine. You know what's really crazy about the experience is it boots on, first rip, great. It's very fast. Like, I know that it's a wired controller, but this is something that I'm not used to. Like, the response time is almost like you feel like it's before you even press the button. And I know that the next step for me is to try to see if I can figure out how to get a CRT TV. That's like really what I want to see, and then try to experience it that way. But I talked in yesterday's cup about how AAA games are, pretty brutal. That the idea of this open world, like how much can we cram into this game and then charge through the wazoo about it? Like, it's this big deal. And I was having a conversation on Discord, which is a beautiful place. If you want to be a part of it, join the channel memberships, and then you click the link in the pinned, like, whatever. I think there's a post for members only. Join the private Discord. But we were talking in Discord about video game pricing and the whole video game landscape, how we do things and stuff like that. And like Nintendo, for instance, there was a criticism about Nintendo's pricing because Nintendo doesn't often put their AAA titles on sale. And I argued that, one, like, and maybe this is something you guys, don't agree with me on, which is fine. Like, one, when you have a game, let's just take this that felt so good. It just came right out. Let's just take this, for instance, okay? You have a game and you expect that the company is going to put it on sale. And so you're not going to buy it off the rip. You're going to buy it on sale. That's kind of a interesting place to be, where it's just like, oh, I'm only going to purchase stuff that's on sale. Okay, fine. No, that's fine. It's totally cool. That's your thing. saving money. Very smart, very wise. Good on you. The complaint that Nintendo never puts their games on sale was an interesting one to me, because I'm like, if you are only buying a game that is discounted by the publisher themselves, there's always secondhand market, right? But if you're only buying games that is discounted, then you don't think that this is worth the whatever, right? Let's just say $60. $60 that it is asking for. You think that it's only worth the sale price, right? And we all know the games. Borderlands is one that I always make fun of, but it's the truth. Like, we all know the games that are perpetually on sale. They're on sale for, 50% off on a regular basis. We all see the products online that are perpetually on sale. They're on sale for, 47% off today. Use it, but it's always on sale. It's always 47% off. Sometimes it's 52, sometimes it's 43, but it's always 47% off. All right, D4, what do we have? 2. 1, 2. We have ourselves blue. 2 is blue. And so I was like, okay, well, if you only want to buy games that are on sale, fine, do your thing, whatever. But and that was the ridicule towards Nintendo. My argument was, Nintendo, and there was also talk about like, raising prices. They'd raise their prices, if they knew that people would pay it. They just haven't gotten there yet. That may be true as well. I'm not going to say it's not true. I'm going to say I don't necessarily think that's the case. But that's my own personal opinion. And I don't think I'm any more right than someone who believes that they're correct, that Nintendo will raise their prices. They'd raise their prices to, $80 if they knew people would pay it. I just have my opinion on it. And so my opinion is this. Nintendo values their IPs tremendously. Like, it's very clear. They are extremely litigious when it comes to their IPs, whether you agree with their aggressive litigation or not, whether you think it's cultural because of the way that they, value, respect, and hold their IPs a specific place and require them to be honored that way, doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. If we're talking practically, let's say it's $60 pretty much always, and 4 or 5 years down the line, they're going to discount it for $5 to $7, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, look at this, $5 off or whatever it is. Great. It's always $60. So whenever you decide, I want to purchase Super Smash Brothers, you don't have to wait for a sale. It's always going to be that price. There's no FOMO because you're not getting the worst price. You're not getting the overprice. Whether you think it's overpriced or not is your own opinion. It's just always $60. Day one, day whatever 7 times 365 is, which if we do quick math, that's 2,100 plus 420. So that's what? 2520 plus 35, 2555. I don't know if I'm right. 365 is 2555. That'd be sick. What excites me about this whole retro thing, and that was a conversation I was having in Discord, which was really great. What excites me about this retro thing is I just feel like going back and playing some older games is like so special. I can't even, maybe it's nostalgia, but have you guys turned on one of your old systems and just like played one of the old games? I'm sure some don't age the best. That's fine. But like, I'm playing this. I cannot wait till I get Ocarina of Time. I have Ocarina of Time 9 ways, dude. I can't reach it. I have Ocarina of Time on 3DS. I have Ocarina of Time emulated. I have Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo Switch. I'm going to have Ocarina of Time on the original Nintendo 64 with the original Nintendo 64 cartridge. I have Ocarina of Time so many different ways till Tuesday. And I've played that game on the GameCube with the, what is it called? The Masters Collection, when they have Ocarina of Time and Ocarina of Time Masters Quest or something. I've played that game probably, like realistically, non-exaggerated, like I'm not exaggerating, I've probably played it start to finish, beat it probably 20 times over. I can do the water temple without help. That's kind of where I'm at. If you know, you know. Like, if you're able to run water temple with no guide, you've played Ocarina of Time plenty of times. I can't speedrun it because I'm not a speedrunner, because I enjoy the charm of the game. I enjoy the excitement of, getting the different items. I enjoy the linear story. And that was a comment I saw, I think it was this morning. And they said that maybe this open world concept is the problem. Maybe it's not AAA titles. Maybe the story-driven linear like thing is really what you're looking for. And I'm going to be honest with you, you got something there. Because Final Fantasy 16 is the last game I played that I really, really enjoyed. Like, it was incredible. Tears of the Kingdom, I liked because of Zelda, but I'm going to be honest, there was a lot there, and I did almost none of it. I think that if we were to put together all the different things that I did in that game, I probably hit 15% of extra stuff. Like, honestly, 15, maybe 20% of extra stuff. Not much. And it was mainly if I just saw it along the way. But you give me Ocarina of Time. I've never actually beaten Majora's Mask. So I can't say much to that. But you give me some of these, Wind Waker. I do have a Wii U. I do have Wind Waker installed on it, I have never beaten it. You give me these linear games, and it's just like a completely different experience. And for me, that's something I find that the retro style thing is. Now, why would I ever go back to outdated hardware? And that's really simple. Charm. I do not believe that the Nintendo 64 is better than the Nintendo Switch. Not by a long shot. I don't believe that the Nintendo 64 playing Ocarina of Time on original hardware is going to be a better experience than Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo Switch when it actually scales better and is not going to be all blurry on my big giant TV with a HDMI adapter. Yeah, I certainly don't believe that that's the best option. But the charm that's added by using original hardware is something that is otherworldly. I cannot express how I felt. It's very, very hard to express. And again, that may be just the nostalgia kicking in because I haven't booted up an N64 in 20 years, but I don't know. For me, I've had this dream for a while, multiple years, and that is to have functioning versions of all of Nintendo's consoles with 5 to 7 games per console that is playable. A Zelda game, a Donkey Kong game, Mario game, something along those lines, and extras in between. I personally think that original hardware is fun to use. There's a charm in it. There's an excitement to it. There's a piece of history that you're interacting with, which is really nice. I would equate it to how I make my coffee, right? I make coffee this fancy pants way. It's really not as special as it seems. It looks so much more complex than it really is. And in a lot of ways, I have added complexity due to the understanding of the chemistry itself, right? I've added this type of grinder that is a flat burr vertical grinder that is very specific in the way that it grinds things, and it's extremely powerful as well as consistent. And so because of the way that the grind pops out of the chute due to the grinder's type of burr set and the way the blades are angled, the amount of blades, the coating of the blades, all that, I get a very consistent and precise grind size and the particles are all very, very uniform, right? And particle uniformity is extremely important when it comes to chemistry because when you have different sized particles, or particulates, I think it would be a better way to say it, different size particulates, then you're going to have inconsistency in extraction because some particles are going to be bigger, and so it's going to extract more, and some are going to be smaller, and it's going to extract less, but because it's smaller, it's going to have less space for the water to pass through. There's so many different things. So the complexity that is introduced with adding this piece is due to the knowledge, but in reality, what it's doing is it's simplifying the process by making my actual ingredient, the coffee bean, much more consistent. But I say this because this process is very, very manual. It's very analog. It's very tactile. The feeling of it is very, very special and nice. I have these, nice wooden handles for a reason because it feels good. It changes colors with the sweat, with the different temperatures of your hands because that's what wood does. It's a breathing material, right? It's dead, but it's also alive. You know what I mean? And so, the whole process itself is very controlled by myself and it's nice. But at the end of the day, there are machines out there, a few $100s, maybe, $500 or $600 that do the exact same thing I do. They have a spout that moves. You can program it to move in different directions. I think that actually Fellow just put out one that does automatic pour over. It all exists. It's very, very possible. And for someone who doesn't care so much about the process and they care about the product, that is something that, is more attractive to them, which is great. And I, for one, realize that as time has gone on, process has become less and less of a thing when it comes to the interaction with video games or some of these medias in general. I'll give another example. Manga. I've been reading this for the past few months. It's been incredible. It's actually changed the way I, sleep. I sleep better because I read it at night instead of playing video games at night, right before bed. And I have decided to go physical, and that allows me to get off of screens. I have to physically turn pages. I have to remember where I was, put a bookmark. If I don't, I have to kind of read a couple pages to get there. It's not as convenient. I can't, pick up any device and pick up where I left off. I have to make sure I have the very book itself, and it causes intention and process and this thing where we have traded in a lot of things for convenience. And I think that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with convenience. And this is a very personal admission as well as a personal decision to intentionally slow down, I think is what I'm saying. Games that have save points are ones that some would say don't respect your time. And I would agree if you're looking at it from that perspective. Others would say that the time that you decided to sit down and enjoy those games is an intentional time. And I know for me, as a father who doesn't get a lot of time to play video games, it may not be the best pairing. I mean, the idea of booting up the N64 and playing it until I hit a save point isn't necessarily the easiest in a lot of games. Sure, some games allow you to save, and let's hope that the save battery works on this game because I haven't actually tried. I just turned it off when I was done using it because there's no autosave. You just have to be a part of that process, the inconvenience that existed back then. And I'm curious, what have we traded in the sake of convenience? I know that we've traded in a lot of ownership for the sake of convenience, and for some it doesn't matter. For me, it does. We've traded in a lot of nuance, personal connection for the sake of convenience. And for some, again, those things don't matter. And I would argue that there are probably more people that it doesn't matter to. And I don't necessarily know if that's a good or bad thing. That's up to you to decide. But for me, I see it as a bad thing for myself. I don't like sitting down and not deciding to do the thing I'm doing. I don't like the mindlessness in that. I don't like being detached from the decision because the decision is so forced upon me. I'm not a fan of that. I like understanding why I'm deciding to spend a specific amount of time doing something. And so something as simple as a Nintendo 64 with Super Smash Brothers had this profound effect on me because I was thinking about these things. I'm like, holy smokes, not symbolism, I guess symbolism that is this type of experience. It's so dated. It's so unnecessary. All the games I want to play are available to me already through emulation, and I have the Nintendo 64 controller that even comes with the Nintendo Switch. I can play that anywhere. I can sit outside on the couch and do it. But still, the original hardware has something that speaks to me personally, and I have no intention on collecting. I do not care to tell you that I have a first edition sealed copy of blank. This collection that I want has nothing to do with looking at. It has everything to do with playing. The unfortunate reality is other people don't believe the same thing. And so they have overpriced just about all of it out there, and it's unfortunate. And I'm not against attaining copies in different ways. If you have copies of Nintendo 64 games that you're like, hey, I'd like to contribute to the library, I have a P.O. box. If you're not into it, if you're like, I'm selling some stuff and it's reasonable, I'm looking to buy games, I have some prerequisites. They need to have full labels, right? No inappropriate markings or stickers. And the save battery needs to work, ideally, because I don't know how to fix that. I know it's not that hard, and I'm sure that I could probably figure it out. But again, I'm looking for Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Donkey Kong 64, and Star Fox. I need a Rumble Pack and an expansion pack. Those are the things that I'm looking for immediately right now because I want to play through those games. And Where am I going to play these games? That's a great question, you ask. A very great question. I fully intend on playing those games on Twitch because that's what I'm doing. I'm streaming on Twitch right now. JD Coffee, that's my name over there. That's my name for the gaming stuff, JD Coffee. Gameplay and shorts about all the gaming stuff will slowly be trickled out on the second channel, Julian Melnick 2, which I have to wait 14 days to switch back to JD Coffee. I was trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the different channels here. That's just going to be the gaming stuff, all gaming stuff all the time. Streaming over on Twitch right now because I'm streaming 4 nights a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And those 4 nights a week are not, YouTube does not like that. So doing that here was not working. It was very, very confusing for YouTube's whole situation. So unfortunately, I had to cut that. Whatever, we're good. If you want to join in streams over there, you won't get bombarded though. If you're a fan of the channel and these videos, you're not going to get bombarded by those notifications because don't worry, they're not going to be here. I'm overjoyed with this experience. I cannot wait to get a Super Nintendo. I need to find one, play some of those games. The goal isn't to say that going back to records and Nintendo 64s is the answer. It's not the answer. But slowing down, being intentional, and experiencing history, that's something I'm really, really into. I want to learn more about the history of these. That's why I have these books. There's history of video games in all these books right here, Bitmap Books. I am not partnered with them at all, and I've purchased every single one except for one. They sent me the PC Engine book because they're doing a promotion for it. They're like, would you like to make some videos about it? And I was like, yeah, sure. I've purchased 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books by them. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've purchased 9 books. Here's the Nintendo 64 Visual Compendium, which is going to be great with the Nintendo 64. Out of these 9 books, 6 of them I paid full price. 3 of them I got a discount for 50% off. I love these books. Most beautiful books out there. All right. That's it for today. I have a manga reading club, but you are not going to know about that unless you join me on Twitch because that's where I talk about it. So go over there. If you want to read manga with me or reading through Dragon Ball Z, there it is. I told you. All right. Enough of this. If you're watching this a year later, I may not even be on Twitch anymore. Who knows? This is all a time capsule. All right. I'm going to clean up this office to get ready for the stream tonight. And I cannot wait to play Super Smash Brothers on Steam. Stream? It's going to be awesome. This is so great. I'm so excited. All right. Happy gaming.